Okay. Uh, I believe we did six. Uh, um, uh, uh, yeah, there's all the people who signed it. We read all the names, the signatures last time.
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm not sure we did five or six. Could be they're repetitive. That's why it looks somewhere. Uh, we did five for sure. No, okay, maybe we're up to six. But I seem to remember this typo. "Lo yamar adam chaver mamzer psul mishpacha."
Okay.
Uh, no,
We
let's check.
started. Yeah, we did about the giving to the Muhammad.
What? We did the
We
Muhammad.
did about giving to the Muhammad.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did all this.
Yeah, as far as stuff.
yeah, I think we did all this. Um, the yeah, and they made all this. Yeah, I don't know if we made all the names, but we did. It says at the end, these are all takonos besides what Rabbeinu Gershom Margola said. Uh,
Right.
Rabbeinu Od, Bein Yiduas, Lo Tzulchat Shom, which are known, and we don't have to rechash them. Signed by Yosef ben Reb Sneil, Rosh Habana Davi Mintzberg, Reb Kolimus, Yaakov, Reb Osher Levi, Eliezer, Reb Shmuel, Sem Reb Shmuel Zal, Yitzhak Reb Shmuel Levi, Yehuda Reb Shimon Zal, Nasim Reb Shimon Zal, Yitzhak Reb Shmuel Levi, Yehuda Reb Shimon Zal, Nasim Reb Shimon Zal, Shimshon Reb Ephraim, Yoel Reb Nosan HaKoyin, Chizkiah Reb Reuven Bubret, Nasim Reb Yitzchak, Matisel Reb Reuven, Eliezer Kotam Reb Yehuda, Reb Shmuel, Shmuel, Baruch Reb Shmuel, Rabbi Ezri, Yitzchak Reb Shmuel Kohen, Shmuel ben Rabbi Kohen, Eliezer ben Shmuel, Yaakov Hornbach ben Rabbi Yitzchak Levi. Okay. ואחר כך, and afterwards, חידשנו את תקונס אלו על פי חרם. We renewed these takonas based on the cherem. Api shoysa kvar takona yeshana. Even though there was never, this notwithstanding that there was already an older takona shloyi nada rab shum adam below shusakol. Person could not put anybody needed without the permission of the congregation. Kamakol loy nada adam below shusa rab, and the call cannot put anybody in needed without the permission of the rabbi. V'yavu rabba call ein lechushin duyam. And if the rabbi or the kila does it independently of each other, we're not concerned with their neither. Even, I guess, if other rabbis agree. So the rabbi, if Yanadu, they're not concerned with takana that the call also has to agree. Ain't to do him neither. It's not valid. Takana zuma avasena kadmonim. And there's an ancient takana. So I guess they specify that all of this has to have consent from both parties, the Rav and the Kila. And they signed
Okay.
Yitzchak Rabbi Avram Nishmas Eden Av Hareach, who's the father of Gesar Buda Chosid, Dav Rabbeinu Shaltiel Zal, Mishum ben Rabbeinu David, Yehuda ben Rabbeinu Moshe Roy Coin, as Moshe Coin Chazon. V'chol Shpiro Magensa v'Ramaisa Eskimu v'Chosmu. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Meir, the Rabbi Yaakov Achiv, the Shmuel Rabbi Meir is the Rashbam. Rabbi
Okay.
Yaakov Achiv is Rabbeinu Tam.
Okay.
Eliezer Rabbi Nosson is the Ravon, who was also one of the Rishonim early Bali Tesis. Tzafnas Paneach, I guess that was the title they gave him. Eliezer Rabbi Shimshon, I'm not sure that it is. Maybe it's Eliezer Mimetz. But anyway, these are all very choshev rabbanim. Chorabanim v'chacham shabo leunian, wherever that is, b'tzarfas, in France, v'chol aretz iskimu gazu b'chem and neither b'shamta b'shem misa. Okay, I don't know what that is. I guess a name which invokes the death of the person who is over. Uxeris Yeshua ben Nun. Yeshua ben Nun made all sorts of decrees. I don't know how we can automatically copy his decrees and say extrapolate from them, but Yeshua certainly made Uxeris when they entered Eretz Yisrael. Shaloyavi
Hmm.
Adam Shum Chavero, a person should not bring anyone. Shum Adam Chavero should not bring any one of his friends. Beridu Goyim to the be compelled by non-Jews. Oshe Kafena Goyim Mu'uma, and you should not subjugate him through goyim in any way, shape, or form. Hain goy hedyot, whether it's a commoner, hain moshel or ruler, hain sadyot or an official, kimidash name, unless both people involved consent. Veinik shem, it has to be with coach witnesses. Achim usarvan labola basin, but somebody is resisting to come to basin. Yeshu edim davar, and the witnesses im yotzi oso tviya, they goyim if they're the witnesses, and he's refusing to come to basin. If he removes that claim by a goyim, lo chal of gzeir. So the entire gzeir which is made, which seems to be very severe, doesn't apply.
Hmm.
V'im also if somebody does violate what we decreed, gazan b'cherim and b'nidui, shefatz chaverim yana goyim. He has to compensate his friend for whatever the goyim took. V'yashket olav hagoyim hamasayim, and he has to pacify the goyim who are assisting. Shlo yavo hezek, that no damage will come to the person whom he was activating the goyim against. V'yifaisenu, and he should appease him. V'yifaisenu, and make restitution. Moshe mushiva to va'ir, just like as will be stipulated by the seven elders. Zidi v'loy, I mushiva to va'ir. I did goyim. You can't threaten the shiva to va'ir by goyim. V'hogazarna v'nidinu. V'chranda b'shamta u'v'shem misa. Again, this idea of Shem Misa is an interesting idea. Let's see
Hmm.
on my phone if anything comes up for it. I doubt it, but let's see. Well, the Gemara in Moikot and Daf Yud Zayin says that Shamta is short for Shem Misa.
Hmm. All right.
Um,
Well, what does that mean, Shemitah?
so I guess it's they um, I guess it's a beautiful a synonym for Shamta.
All right, but
Uh,
Shamta is just sort of another word for Nidua. I don't really have
right,
any idea.
but
What,
evidently it's another. Um, um,
don't know really what it means in and of itself.
the There's Kamod of Tzadok says, Sisi Nun Aleph. Kamodim Shamtia de Shipura Shu Shem Misa La'akum. Chaim Yisrael. So a shofar is a Shem Misa for a non-Jew, and Shem Chaim for a Jew. Um, so I guess there is a bunch of places where it's brought down.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but it doesn't really explain what it is. I assume it's some sort of language they use. Um, I don't know. I guess some sort of language they use in order to as a interpretation of Shem of Shamtor. That they say you should know that this is Shem Misa. That's somebody who's in, or maybe it's Shav Misa, not Shem Misa. That there's a death penalty implicit in being in Cherem. Um, so uh,
Okay.
Shaloya, other Mashali Tosra Chabero, person should not be able to take uh, control, um, governance on his friend. Lo de melch, not by the king. Lo de sar b'shofet, nor by a official or a judge. K'dei lanosh liknos l'kuf chavero. Lo b'divrei avai, not in matters, I guess, which are mundane. Lo b'divrei shamayim. And also not in matters of heaven. Ki yesh osim atzmam prushim. Uh, uh, the people who make themselves prushim, in other words, they make themselves very holy, and they say, the fight we have with this guy is a holy fight." Enom, and they're not even snuim, let alone prushim. I guess they're not even humble people, let alone holy people. Unless the majority of the congregation has appointed them, in which case I guess that they have the right to represent the Jews to authority and assert that the authority should get involved. He's in cursed and he's in nidui with shamta and shamta umuchram b'shem misa. Here it is. V'shmama yehei. I think these all shamta shem misa and shmama are all interpretations of the word shamta. But you call
Okay.
yourself muvdolim imenu chasumim. They ain't chasumim where they're signed on this, or they're not signed. Talmidim, and the Talmidim and the Talmidim, Chavreihem and their friends Gedolim Ktanim, and all they're all included in this. Pito Paskuti, his bread is considered bread of a goy. Yeno Yaneses, wine which is a wine of a Zora. Sfarav Sifnei Koismim, his books are books of magicians. I guess that means not to have any hanor from anything he has, they'll do any business with him. Vashomer Takanos, the somebody who preserves the Takanos, Yanuchu Brachos Arosho. So he will get brachos. Takanos Chasima Shmuel Reb Meir, that's the Rashbam, Yaakov Reb Meir, the Rebbe Tam, Lazim Nasa, and the Ravon, the Kuf Nun Rabbanim, and 150 other rabbis. Borasi for Rabbeinu Shmuel, Rabbeinu Yaakov Takein, Rabbeinu Menachem Yunya, because Zubichem B'Allah Chamur Gzeres Basin Atachton Akol Nosei Isha. Anybody marries a woman who Mesa B'Toch Shnosa Shel Nisun Below Vad Shechema, and she dies in the year of marriage without any offspring. She'achzor Yeshuv Kol Nidunya, and all of the dowry goes back. Tachshita Isha and the jewelry she brought into marriage, Lenosi and doing to people who gave the dowry earlier or to her heirs. Mashnisha B'Yoda, whatever remains in his hand, Shelo Hoti, which he did not expend. Mashlo Klo, which was not used up. And he should not be devious and use up the stuff of the dowry if his wife is sick. But he can't be involved in to use the money in order to bury her, based on her what's appropriate for her. Valzman based in Lamed Yom. And that the time of based and gives her this is 30 days. Im Yoshiva Baal, Im Yitbenu Mimenu. If the husband responds he has some sort of response when we demand for him. Mashasid Gavos, and also that which he's eventually going to collect, V'shalo, I think it's V'shalo Tava Mirachosein Lo Lab. I'm not sure what it's referring to, but it sounds like that he something which he can never got from the father-in-law. Even though he intended to get it, I feel achashnas nisuin. Even after a full year, he can't. He can't get it. Gazarna b'cherem b'gzeira chamura. We decreed with a cherem and the strict decree. V'loyamot techachos. And I don't know what that means. He won't be able to stand rebuke.
Mhm.
V'tamri kochachem. I have no idea what that means. I mean, I know what it means. I know what the context is. And your strength is naught. Lo adam shisi bito, somebody married his daughter. Plus a monar bay. Uh, I guess they made a claim because they're chamura that if somebody does not accept rebuke, and they said that he's his they cursed him that v'tamri kochachem.
Mhm.
But then I'm not sure where the period is here. Adam Shisibito saying married his daughter plus a mamona bay and promised a lot of money dowry. Below speaking man Mishal it says. And the Shev Brachas was not over. Achemesa Bito. Uh
Who dies?
the right guy's name Sam Mafsid Bito Mafsid Mosav. Uh that um he loses his daughter and his money. But Hashem Shlomo Bosik Zera. So we didn't stand that Zera means we're not allowing that to happen. In other words, he doesn't have to pay up. Okay?
Okay.
Suranian Sam Xeros for Os and his Basibus Toivus, it shouldn't happen. Achlarinus in the Rhine area of Chom Achosavi and all the surrounding areas, Tikkun Achzil Hashiv Chatziani Dunya, you get back half of the dowry, I feel Tokshna sign within 2 years. Labami go there besides her clothing. I guess he gets to keep her clothing. So Ishmael and Nichiev and Yerez Erev Nachyomim, Rabim and Tatsuim Binimim. Well, we should avoid these situations and we should have long lives and pleasant lives. Okay, next paragraph is actually starts with the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershom himself, at least one of them.
Okay.
Cherem Takosa Kilo Shisham Rabbeinu Gershom or Agoyla. They saw Shtei Nashim. She's not married to wives. Ve'eturak B'mea Nashim. You only permitted with 300 people. Mishosh Arotzos. Mishosh kilos from 3 lands and 3 kilos. Some lo yaskimu. They also should not agree. Time until they see a clear-cut reason to permit it. And a ksuva has to be set aside, safeguarded in the hands of a trustworthy person, either with money or collateral. Any cherem which a chos is makab on himself, he doesn't specify what it is. Needs 100 people to be permitted. Cherem kadmonim al tusumas yad below kabbalas cherem. And there's a cherem kadmonim we mentioned before on a handshake. Even if there is no kabbalas cherem on the handshake, they have to fulfill the handshake. But this you can permit with 30 rabbis. If you're going to permit a handshake to be dissolved, then you have to have a good reason to be martyred. Very out of left field, that relative to the previous ones. If there's a specific 10 people in shul, schil shots these schil tzibur star chasar shots. Einachamem mashal it says achik more. We've had this before. V'mietza chamem below reshus. Somebody goes out of permission. Be schil kadesh or kedusha. Yigmar below minyan. You finish that minyan. Chemtza below gedolos. And a mashal v'atzah tefillah b'shabbos yontiv. And came bita tefillah chom shlosh pamim. That's for as well. Chem shlois b'el shots shemuchzak adam acher. Somebody else says, "Look, no shliach tzibur can undertake davening. Achu mutuva irshi spal unless the elders of the city say you can daven." Chem shelo yarchik adam yishto v'yishay yosem yudches chodashim lo reshus. I don't remember if we had that. Person can't spend more than 18 months away from his wife without permission. Up to 18 months, I guess, is okay even without a permission. But more than 18 months, no. Jews can make a cherem any time. But it can be matir for an individual for a certain amount of time if there's a legitimate reason. If the time of the cherem passed, this is not simple. According to Gemara, it seems you still need to be matir, but they made takana that they don't have to be matir. It expires automatically. So during the time, they can do it artificially, but after the time, it expires automatically. You're allowed to speak to somebody who violated a cherem. Guess talking is not prohibited. And we agreed, I think, to make the takana that a city which has a basic forest. So if the city has a regional cemetery in Beshofen, where my family comes from, there's a regional cemetery where many people are buried from the surrounding villages. So then the people in the surrounding villages who bury their dead in that town have to make a din Torah in that town. That's the neat thing. I guess it's considered to be the regional district based in. If the place is mentioned that there was a Talmud Chacham there, Krov Levi Gershom based in. Likely there was a base never done in Ba, and I guess that sets a precedent that that town is considered to be a regional seat of a regional basin. Even though I guess right now there's no basin there, but there was some Talmud Chacham there at some point. Takas Chamayim logos ula based in Yerushas B'Karkos el base of Goshen Medinos. It's an ancient Sakana that based in can't get involved in somehow with inheritance of lands. Only the greatest base in the country, which I guess they have the right of Hefker based in Hefker, so they can make. I mean, theoretically, they don't really, but since they're the greatest base in the country, it's akin to Hefker based in Hefker, so they can make gazeros. I don't know what kind of make gazeros they're making, but on inheritance of lands.
Okay.
Takon shalitain leget liisha bar kocha. They didn't get klum. That's weird. I don't think we passed that way. I think we said before that you're not supposed to give a get to a woman against the will, but the get is valid. They're saying the get is not valid. That's an amazing statement. Nasa la get mitchila mirtzaina. If you gave her a get initially and she agreed to it, needs to get puzzle. If a get was found to be puzzle, Ethan will get shame about korcha. Then he give her a send get against the will. If we don't, she didn't know the first is puzzle. She accepted it as is. That I'm not sure what it means to be pater each other, but people accept the Cher Makilos, and Rabbeinu Chil said that if they exempt each other, they don't need a special heter. I'm not sure the difference between a ptur and a heter is. I guess they give a person special dispensation ahead of time that he can be over on this Cher for some extenuating reason that he doesn't have to have a special heter from the Cher. If someone wants to sustain the Cher, and his friend wants to renege, let's say, uh, I'm not sure what the scenario is, but I guess like say handshake. One of them wants to sustain that, the other one wants to renege on it. Rotzakayim mutter, ptur chavero. The one who wants to sustain it is, I don't know what mutter means. Chavero aser. That seems to be
Okay, not very clear.
not very clear. Takona shloiskar bayis goy shedarbo chavero Yisrael. It's not to rent out a house of a goy in which his friend Yisrael is living. Amlo shloshana achash yotza yudim min abayis. Until year passes, until the Jew leaves the house, I guess, because otherwise it's subject to all sorts of chicanery. Amudara mer goy, but the person living there says to goy, "Scharli abayis bepachat imasha sacharta b'shana shavra." I want to reduce the rent. Very fresh name of Sholo. He doesn't say why he's asking. Or Malo, he says, "Ain't that sochro? I don't have in mind to rent it." But Shani notes the guy schorosh nasan rishon, and the second Jew comes and gives the full rent to the guy. Or then Shu takono. There's the takono not that doesn't apply. So then there's no need to wait a year. Unless there was some way in which the legit that the houses are worth less. I guess something went up in price, down in price, in which case I guess all bets are off. Also, there's only to do when a Jew rents from a goy, not when a Jew rents another Jew. Okay, Takonash, maybe we'll stop here for today. Not sure I'm going to remember where we're up to. That's the problem. We did a lot. Okay, let's see if I don't know if I can make a bookmark here. That's the problem. No, I'm gonna copy this and download it. So I do next time off the find from off the page.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Gemar Chasim Tova.
Brachatim Tov,
Okay.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Goodbye.
Ciao.